your recordings sound like crap. Maybe they sound okay, but they are nowhere near what you're looking for. Maybe you pick up a tip here and a tip there from magazines, blogs, and forums. Do you ever worry you're missing the big picture? Do you feel like you're just guessing? Are you mindlessly throwing a mic or tin in front of the instrument and hoping for the best? Do you feel like there is something big you are missing? Killer Home Recording, Audio and Engineering lays the groundwork for cranking out amazing recordings. We take a confusing, mind-boggling topic, simplify it, lay down how it works, and fill in all the gaps. Audio engineering will make sense to you. You'll discover the big secret that you've been missing out on all along. Best of all, you'll walk out with more confidence. When things go wrong, you'll know where to focus your effort. You no longer have to be frustrated. You'll waste less time on silly distractions. You'll waste less money on things you don't need. You'll immediately know where your dollars will make the biggest impact. Best of all, you'll crank out the best recordings of your life. Killer Home Recording, Audio Engineering. Okay, I want to talk to you about what you're going to find in Killer Home Recording, Audio Engineering. Let's get right to it here. Okay, here's our cover. Let's go to the table of contents first and foremost. Okay, the very, very first chapter, you noticed I've blacked out. And I blacked out because I'm not going to tell you what it is. And this is not like a desperate marketing ploy. This is because you won't pay attention. This is information you have heard before. It's not anything overly creative here. But the problem is no one listens to it. And so if I was to tell you now, you'd be like, yeah, whatever. Well, I'm just not going to tell you. Too damn bad. All right, so let's keep going down here. Figure that one out on your own. Okay, control room acoustics. I'm kind of proud of this one because it was so daggum hard to make. Trying to explain acoustics, it's one thing to halfway understand it yourself, but it's another thing to be able to teach it. And I rewrote this section I don't know how many times, but I think I've got something that my mom would understand, that, not that my mom can't understand physics, but anyway, basically I have explained physics, and I think in a way that's about as real-world layman as it's going to get. Hopefully you'll agree with me there. Okay, next we get down to live room acoustics, and this one's a lot more fun than control room acoustics, a lot less rules, a lot less technical understanding, a lot more creative fun. I get into what you really need to do in a home recording situation. I mean, it's one thing dealing with a room that's the size of a school gym or, whatever, some huge thing. It's a totally different situation whenever you're recording in, your bathroom, your bedroom, etc. So that's really the emphasis here is how to really damage control. Huge stuff. And a lot of the solutions I have here are pretty damn cheap. That's always a big thing for me, catering to the budget-minded, and a lot of these things can be done relatively inexpensively. Okay, and then aptly titled, Phase and Comb Filtering, the worst chapter in this book. I'm not lying here, this is hardcore, and I went way out of my way, much like the control room acoustics chapter. I went way out of my way to make this simple. I wrote it and rewrote it, so I'm thinking that I have the simplest way to explain this in the universe. I sure hope so. And if not, I'll just have to rewrite it again. Okay, next, the source. And this is when we're talking about the musician, or the sound, the actual noise in the room that you're wanting to capture. And it really hit what's important on this, what are we looking for, the role of the source. It's kind of hard to explain this without really giving it away. But, so moving on here. This thing's kind of slow. All right, fundamental concepts doesn't sound very interesting, but I guarantee you, when you understand these things, the whole world of recording opens up. A lot of the beginner problems, I think, come from indecision, from not having the confidence, from not having this fundamental understanding of what's really going on. And I'm really pumped about what's going to happen when a whole slew of home recorders get a hold of this stuff. It's stuff you just don't see in forums. it just doesn't come up. I don't know if it's less interesting to talk about. I don't think so. I think it's fun to talk about, but for some reason this stuff always gets overshadowed by, more sexier things. So anyhow, I'm really excited by this one, and I think you will be too. And see here, I go and go and go. There's a whole bunch of junk here. Okay, what else we got? All right, audio engineering philosophy. I'm sure half of you, or 90% of you, are like, oh boy. Again, this is kind of developing that fundamental thing to understand what's really going on in a greater depth. And we're not going to get into Plato and Nietzsche or anything, ridiculous. We're just kind of trying to figure out, basically, here's my views, and you can take it how you wish. And I think this is going to really give you that foundation. Beginner engineering stuff. And I didn't spend a whole lot of time on this, but there's a lot of things that people who are brand new have no idea what's going on, and I didn't really feel like these concepts needed to be addressed in killer home recording setting up. I thought these were a little bit more advanced, but like after the rig's actually set up, now I have these problems. What do I do? And in terms of sound, and so this is just for the little guy here, just getting going. All right, gear stuff. Kind of talk about when gear is important, when it's not important, when you should care, when you should not, when you should pull out your wallet, when you should not. There's a few other things too. We cover how a patch bay works and mixing in the box, things of that sort. This is more the talk, and a lot of the interrogator sessions will clear a lot of this up in a lot greater depth because they'll actually show you the audio examples. However, I think this is gonna be good for everybody. Microphones. Tearing the microphones, and this is relatively a common. I mean, I have my spin on this, but this is the kind of information you see around. I don't have a whole lot of that normal 101 type information. I don't work that way because I'm trying to hit it from a real world perspective. But this is probably the closest thing to it. Okay, moving on down, and this was a really fun one for me. Running a recording session. This only really applies to people who are recording additional, other musicians than themselves, which I guess is most of you. This stuff is huge. Knowing how to deal with the idiots. If you're in a band, I apologize, but the numbers don't lie. You're probably an idiot. I'm just kidding. But no, anyway, learning how to deal with bands, the right attitude, when to compromise, how to compromise, how to manipulate them psychologically to get what you want, and ultimately what they want to, hopefully. It's a big deal and a whole lot of fun. And so I think that this is some of the most important information there is in this whole book. Just because if you can get a band, if you know how to push them the right way, it's amazing what you can get out of them. And we kind of hit on this topic in a lot more depth with singers in particular because they're crazy. I'm serious. If you're a singer, you're probably crazy. You have medication and you know it. I'm a guitar player, so yeah, feel free to fight back with the cliched things because they all apply too. Anyhow, so this is basically killer home recording audio engineering. I really think this is going to be a big deal for anybody who's relatively new to the world of recording or isn't happy with their sounds. This is going to provide that foundation you have to have to move on to the bigger, better stuff. Killer home recording, audio engineering.